All right, this lesson is about how to find the percent of a number. So the objective of the lesson, I can find the percent of a number, and this will be important for when you need to find sales tax or discounts or how much to tip. So this will kind of lead into our next lesson. How do you find the percent of a number? So we're going to look at the circle graph here, and it's looking at students from York Middle School. And we're looking at the percentage of kids that had different snacks. So some had fruit, and some had cheese, some had veggies, cookies, chips, and some had no snack. We are supposing that there are 300 students at York Middle School, and we want to find out how many students had cheese. So if you look on the graph, you can see that cheese is this light orange one. And 15% of the students chose cheese at York Middle School. We want to find out how many students that is. So we want to find out what 15% of 300 is. So you can use fractions and decimals to find the percent of a number. To find the percent of a number, you want to write the percent as a fraction with a denominator of 100, then multiply the fraction by the number. We're going to be focusing on the method of decimals. So we are going to be writing the percent as a decimal and then multiplying by the number. And we'll look at some examples of this. All right, so we said that 15% of students chose cheese. We're not going to use this fraction method in class. We're going to use method 2, which is the decimal. So again, 15% chose cheese. We need to know 15% of the 300 students at York Middle School. First, you're going to take this 15% and turn it into a decimal. So remember, 15%, that's the same thing as 15 over 100, 15 hundredths, or moving your decimal spot 2 places. So 15 hundredths of, and we're going to be seeing this a lot in our next chapter as well, when you're finding something of another thing, you're multiplying. And then we're going to take that 300. Okay, so this is where you're going to want to use a calculator. So you want to make sure you have a calculator on your iPad, and you can find one at the student app if you want, or you can Google calculator. But 15 hundredths times 300, I just typed in my calculator, is 45. So we know that 45 students at York Middle School had cheese. Okay, let's look at another example with a different snack. Let's try to figure out now how many students had chips. So we look at chips. Chips is 18%. And remember, there's 300 students at York Middle School. We're going to be using this decimal method in class. So we need chips, again, is 18%. So 18% of the 300 students at York Middle School. So our steps again. First, we're going to turn this percent into a decimal. Okay, so I'm going to move my decimal point 2 spots, or I'm going to remember that percents are always out of 100, so it's going to be in the hundredths place is where it needs to end. Of means multiply, times, and then our 300 stays. So I'm going to type in my calculator, 18 hundredths times 300, and I get an answer of 54 students had chips. Okay. you're going to practice some of these on your own. So you're going to open up an iExcel in level H like we usually are for 6th grade. Sometimes we change our level. And you're going to work on S10. Okay. So I'm going to open that up and just kind of show you. So S10 in level H. I'm in level A. So you'll go down to the S section and find S10. And it would be a great idea to pull a calculator right next to you so that you can use your calculator while you're working. Okay, so you'll go through the steps that we just worked on. So 30% of 10. First, remember, you turn it into a decimal. And the problem is I covered up my pen. So I might need to get that out of the way. Shoot. Okay. So we have 30%. We're going to turn it into a decimal point of 30 hundredths, or you could say 3/10 as well. Remember, of means multiply. And then you have 10 as the number. So I'm going to use my calculator. I'm going to type in 30 hundredths times 10. And the answer is 3. So I'm going to type in the box or write 3. Okay, and then you'll continue to do that until you can hopefully get to a score of at least 80.